viewers, I hope you are fine wherever you are. My name is George. Welcome to Talk to Africa. Do you think William Samoei Ruto has surrounded himself with people you can entrust with government in the next few months? Do you think William Samoei Ruto has surrounded himself with people you can entrust with government in the next few months? Let's look at those people. Basically, I'm talking about Anne Waiguru, Rigathi Gachagua, Alice Wahome, Ndindi Nyoro, Kimani Ichung'wah, Aisha Jumwa, Professor Kindiki, Murkomen, now Musalia Mudavadi, and Wetangula. The question is, do you think William Ruto has surrounded himself with credible enough people you can entrust with government in the next few months? Before we go into our discussion, I would kindly request you to like this program. I would ask you to press the notification key so that anytime we produce this program or such a program, YouTube will automatically notify you. Question is, do you think William Ruto has surrounded himself with a team that you can entrust with government in the next few months? Stay tuned.
The public debt has grown sixfold to Kenya shillings 11.7 trillion. Total loan commitments and stock of debt procured exceed the public debt of Kenya shillings 9 trillion as approved by Parliament in 2019, thereby breaching Article 211 of the Constitution, read with Section 50, Subsection 2 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. The Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury exceeded the set debt ceiling without seeking new approval from the Parliament in total violation of the Constitution and the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. It may be of interest to note that debt commitment pre-handshake, and I repeat, pre-handshake, was 4.5 trillion Kenya shillings, and the post-handshake figure has ballooned to 11.7 trillion. The question is this: was the handshake a license to burdening Kenyans with punitive public debt, punitive taxation, punitive food prices, and a high cost of living? The Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury should not sign any new loans, including floating sovereign bonds, during this transition period.
As I was preparing to do another clip on, all Ruto's men, Musalia Mudavadi came out and actually pulled that press conference. You would imagine this is a show. It's basically a show. You would imagine or think that if you are a stranger in Kenya, think that Musalia Mudavadi, William Ruto, and the team that was there at the press conference were actually people who have just landed in Kenya and realized suddenly that the debt ceiling is so big, that the debt portfolio is quite large, and I don't understand. I think there's a confusion in that team right now because they've talked about everything and ended up having nothing to talk about. So you end up having a situation where you have to call a press conference and make the debt issue such a big issue as though it never existed last night. This issue of the debt ceiling, I would really not want to discuss the issue of the debt ceiling, or the debt for that matter, because it's not a pedestrian matter. It's not matters that you can discuss just because Musalia Mudavadi and William Ruto have gone to, call a press conference and they are talking about debt, which they know little about, and then now we all focus on debt. I don't think that's the way I would like to do this. Today, I would like to talk about all Ruto's men, which includes also Musalia Mudavadi. Are these people I think that William Ruto had not done his homework properly. In the sense that if you look at those people, number one, they are not known, except for Musalia and maybe Wetangula. I don't think anybody knows who Kimani Ichung'wah is, as in the national politics or in the national political arena. Even if you talk about Rigathi Gachagua, he is not somebody who is a heavyweight who is known. who would be credible enough in terms of that. Talk about Alice Wahome. Forget the sidekicks, forget Malalas, forget the other people. The people that Willam Ruto surrounds himself with and sells as a package have question marks, to say the least. This is one of the problems that William Samoei Ruto will be faced with, in the next few months. I do not believe that they are even credible enough to form a good, credible, and reasonable opposition. And talking of the opposition, I can tell you for sure that it's not automatic in this particular election that whoever is not in government will be in the opposition. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because out there, we have very credible people who can actually form part of a good, reasonable, lawful opposition. We have people like Martha Karua. We have Moses Kuria. We have, the Speaker Muturi. We have, in maybe some form or another, even if then Kalonzo joins Azimio, we'll have the team of other people who rebel against joining Azimio. And they will be more credible and fragmented in the sense that UDA and Willam Ruto will not form the opposition. It's going to be a different kind of ball game. That is my thinking. What can Willam Ruto do in the time that is left? I really don't know, because when you look at the field right now, the field actually is defined. You have Azimio and those who support Azimio, and you have UDA and those who support Kenya Kwanza. Like in the team, as in the team of Musalia Mudavadi, I would think that he is in that team the only credible person that Willam Ruto is fronting, and even Wetangula as such is not a very credible person. You remember, Wetangula's history is simple. He was fished and hanged in the NAC government, where Kibaki was using him as a flower kind of decorating person, Kibaki never really picked Wetangula because Wetangula had certain skills, or Kibaki never picked Wetangula because Wetangula had certain credibility or integrity. He picked him up because he wanted to have somebody else different from the team that he was operating with. So if you ask me today, I would say, no, that team is not credible. That team cannot even then form, forget government, cannot even form a good opposition. That I can tell you for sure. And this is the reason why time and again I keep saying that Willam Ruto is not even ready himself, let alone the question marks that he has. When you talk about, the cloud behind the issues of corruption and, all these wealth issues. Willam Ruto as an individual does not even then hold that kind of authority in the country. He's really trying hard to push and sell himself, market himself, and things like that. That is the reason why you realize that the Mount Kenya groups are not quite comfortable with Willam Ruto. And if there is something like a deep state, the deep state too is not comfortable and is not a very predictable candidate, as in terms of the actions that he take. He's not the kind of a person that you would entrust with government and expect that government to continue. Not even the programs of Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta, who has never not been a lame duck, as a lot of people ever thought. And that is the reason why you find everybody asking for endorsement of Uhuru Kenyatta. By the way, that's for another day, but he's not a lame duck, he's never been a lame duck. So if you ask me my own question, do I think that Willam Ruto has actually surrounded himself with credible enough people that I would entrust to form government in the next few months? My answer is no. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa. This is Joy.